now.
Officially the law of Colorado.
Protecting the reproductive rights of all Coloradans.
No matter what the Supreme Court does in the future, women in Colorado will be able to choose.
The Reproductive Health Equity Act officially becomes Colorado law.
This bill is a bill that will make sure that we protect every single person in this state.
After weeks of warnings from the White House, the Senate reaches a bipartisan agreement to put billions toward COVID funding.
We really were playing catch-up by the time we got the vaccine.
And the Denver jail deals with a staffing shortage as it tries to protect inmates from coronavirus.
We haven't seen numbers this low for our staffing in quite some time.
First, though, we have some breaking news just into the newsroom. Investigators are looking at a double shooting in Aurora.
Take a look here. This is a live look from Air Tracker 7 over the area of East Colfax and North Beeler. Now, police have not released any information yet on the people shot or the shooter. This is clearly very active right now. Once we learn more, we will bring that information to you on air and on thedenverchannel.com. All right, we need to talk about the winds and the high fire danger. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Allen.
I'm Shannon Ogden. A busy day, as you can see. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson here. Things are getting ready to get very windy around
Getting
here.
ready to being the key word. That's the whole thing with Action Days. We want to give you an advance notice of this coming in because it's gorgeous outside right now. Some high clouds, but look at the current temperatures in the 60s to near 70 degrees. But things will be changing as a cold front moves in. At the moment, there's not much happening here. There's some rain and snow out in the Wasatch in Utah, but we are covered in warnings and advisories, winter weather advisories in the purple in the mountains, high wind warnings, high wind watches, and fire weather warnings coat the eastern plains, and that is all for tomorrow as this system comes in. So the high wind warnings, foothills just the west of Denver, the high wind watch on the plains, but also the fire weather watch in effect. And it's all thanks to this cold front coming our way, now moving into Utah. As it approaches, the winds increase. The mountains will get their share of snow, about 5 to 10 inches, a few rain showers on the plains. But the main thing tomorrow, the strong winds, 50 to 75 miles per hour across eastern Colorado. And with the dry brush that we have, the dry late season grass here from winter into early spring, high fire danger across much of the eastern plains. I'll have more details on it coming up for you in about 15 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. Colorado has a new state law ensuring access to abortion.
Denver 7 politics reporter Megan Lopez has been following the Reproductive Health Equity Act through the legislation. She joins us live from the newsroom.
And Megan, at the same time, other states are limiting access. Colorado is making sure that doesn't happen here.
And that's causing some people to actually come to Colorado, Jacqueline, and to seek access here. We just received some new numbers from Planned Parenthood. They say since September 1st, when Texas's abortion restriction law went into place, they've seen 1,034 patients from that state come into this region to seek care. They say that that's a significant increase, and clinics we spoke with today are bracing for even more. With claps and dozens of picture snaps.
That's my favorite picture.
With speeches and a signing, Colorado codified into law access to abortion in the state. A law that doesn't do much for the day-to-day of access, but that supporters say was necessary because of a pending U.S. Supreme Court ruling.
In Colorado, we truly respect individual rights and freedom.
As Colorado protects abortion rights, though, many surrounding states like Oklahoma and Texas are moving to restrict it. Others like Kansas are considering similar laws, meaning Colorado could become an abortion destination for people like Amanda Hicks.
The doctors were like, she won't breathe on her own, she won't swallow on her own, she won't see.
She came here from Ohio after learning late in her pregnancy her daughter's brain was missing. She shared her story last summer with our national team.
Telling people that we were going to lose our baby. It's devastating.
Influx of specifically Texas patients, but we've also seen Kansas, Oklahoma, Georgia, New Mexico, Wyoming.
Margie Anderson from Healthy Futures for Women says people are driving 20 hours or more to get here, sleeping in their cars, all for access.
We're still short-staffed and we're still trying to keep our commitment to our patients to see them within a week.
Dr. Rebecca Cohen from the Comprehensive Women's Health Center is experiencing much of the same.
What we're seeing is that on some days up to 20% of our patients are coming from Texas.
With this new law, with the restrictions being added in other states, with the Supreme Court possibly overturning Roe v. Wade.
As hard as it is to kind of look to the horizon and see the tsunami, we know that it's coming.
There's already so many patients coming to Colorado, her clinic is having to delay the procedures for people here earlier in their pregnancies to try to accommodate everyone.
We absolutely prefer not to do that these are extraordinary times.
So back at the bill signing while supporters are celebrating this moment.
I'm just over the moon and have cried multiple times because I'm just so happy.
They insist this is only the beginning.
I think the onus is on us. What can we do, again, to support the people who are most impacted? People of color, low-income people, young people.
Because access is one thing, but cost and logistics can be prohibitive all on their own. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And reproductive rights aren't the only policies being hotly debated right now across the country. Multiple states are modifying policies targeting transgender people. We spoke with State Representative Brianna Totone, who says protections here in Colorado actually have people coming here.
Other states are not like that, and you've probably heard some families that are moving here with their trans kids to get away from those discriminatory policies, and we want it to be a welcoming place here.
And right now, State Representative Totone is working on multiple bills, including one that makes health care more inclusive in Colorado.
The Senate has reached a bipartisan deal on $10 billion in COVID funding. More than 90% of the funds are allocated for coronavirus research, testing, and treatment. And today's deal falls short of the more than $22 billion the White House was seeking in emergency funds. The bill also removes global aid to send more vaccines abroad.
The Senate Judiciary Committee has deadlocked along party lines in a vote to approve Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Now, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has now discharged the vote out of committee and to a full Senate vote. Now, we've just learned that 3 Republican senators have said they will vote for Jackson, with Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and Utah Senator Mitt Romney confirming their vote today. She will likely be confirmed in a final vote on the Senate floor this Thursday or Friday.
A growing number of world leaders tonight, including President Biden, are calling for war crimes investigations against Russia. Horrifying images were released over the weekend of corpses on the streets of Ukraine, including at least 400 dead civilians in the city of Bucha. Now, Russia claims the videos are fake. Ukrainian forces continue to push back against Russian troops. The Pentagon said today Russia is now shifting its strategy to focus on eastern and southern Ukraine, with Russia realizing that, quote, the West will not break.
Police in Sacramento have now arrested 1 man in the mass shooting that killed 6 people early Sunday morning. 12 others were injured in that shooting, which stretched across at least 2 city blocks. Police say a large fight took place just moments before the shooting. They say they are still looking for multiple suspects involved. For the first time since the start of the pandemic, Denver 7 is getting a look inside the downtown detention center.
Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez sat down one-on-one with the Denver sheriff to learn just what's changed in the past 2 years.
For the last year, Denver's downtown detention center has tried to vaccinate as many people as possible, a job made easier once incentives kicked in.
As of today, we have reached 4,350 vaccines that we have been able to give. Prior to the incentive, I think we were lucky to maybe even achieve about 1,000.
Starting last year, people who were vaccinated received an added bonus, 10 servings of ramen noodles or 5 servings of noodles and coffee. And here, more food can be a real perk.
Just need you to acknowledge here that we are giving it to you.
That plus education on the vaccine boosted vaccination numbers.
The numbers that we have today with only 5 people being positive is attributable also to the vaccine rate that we have inside of our facilities, as well as the lower counts that are happening in the community.
Sheriff Diggins says they plan on continuing to offer the vaccine so people can return to their communities vaccinated if they choose. One aspect that hasn't made the sheriff's job any easier has been the lack of staffing. Last summer, there were 200 open positions. Today,
we're actually 250 deputies below our authorized strength. We haven't seen numbers this low for our staffing in quite some time, probably since I started 28 years ago.
And those shortages have resonated throughout the detention center.
Sometimes we have to increase the number of hours the deputies have to work overtime. We've had to adjust different things, like do we actually need to make sure that other parts of our agency outside of the jails are working during certain periods of time.
But a new class of 25 recruits added to 12 more recent graduates brings hope.
We also want to keep the great folks that are working here as well. I've actually deemed 2022 the year of retention for the Denver Sheriff's Department.
While the detention center continues seeing a low number of positive cases and increased vaccination rates, there's also optimism the work environment for all deputies will improve. Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
I really can't even put into words like how much this class has meant to me.
A crash course in journalism. Evergreen High School is getting students ready to become the next generation of broadcasters.
I've learned how to shoot, like how to frame definitely had to talk in front of a camera.
And the Denver Boys and Girls Club is updated thanks to help from the Nuggets.
The club can help us through difficult periods in life. These renovations improve the club so we can become even better.